Thank you. Good morning. I'm John Heinen, Chief Technology Officer for NaviPlan, and I'm joined here by Tom Burmeister, Vice President of Financial Planning. We're excited to demonstrate two innovations that we're bringing to our financial planning application this morning, NaviPlan, which is used by more than 100,000 end users across North America and is responsible for the creation of millions of financial plans a year. First, we're going to demonstrate our guided retirement application, which really enables an advisor to engage in financial planning in a way that is unique to the market today. Next, we're going to talk about the APIs that are supporting that application, as well as made available for financial firms to integrate financial planning into their environment. So let me turn it over to Tom for more details.
Great. Thanks, John. Again, I'm going to start by outlining our new guided retirement experience powered by NaviPlan. It's a very exciting addition to the NaviPlan platform. But first, I want to start with a couple of objectives that are driving this initiative. So first, we wanted to create a tool that allowed advisors to illustrate to prospects the value of a financial plan, but in a way that actually took into account that prospect's unique circumstances, but to do so very efficiently and also in a way that seamlessly flows into their existing value proposition or their sales pitch, if you will. Secondly, we wanted to get to a spot where advisors and clients could go much more quickly to a point where they're having those meaningful discussions about how a client can improve their financial situation, the fun part, where an advisor's value really shines. Talk to thousands of advisors every year at events like this, and I have yet to meet anybody that says, I'm great at what I do because my clients and I love data gathering. So if you're out there, come find me. I'd love to meet you. And lastly, when it comes to setting goals or projecting what goals might look like, oftentimes that involves a lot of speculation. And that speculation can kind of translate into some hesitancy, which can actually serve as a barrier to either starting or continuing the financial planning process. So if we want to really expand the footprint of financial planning across our client base, and I know that's the case for many of us in this room, we thought that needed to be addressed as well. So let's dive in here a little bit. So what's one part of the data gathering process that really doesn't scare anybody? Incomes, right? That's something that most clients know with a pretty good degree of certainty. But the thing about incomes, if you take that one data point and you combine it with academic research, big data sources, and artificial intelligence, we can actually create smart assumptions around how somebody's retirement spending needs are going to play out over time. Actually, a lot more than you might think. So let's dive into that a little bit. First of all, consumer spending data tells us a lot about how financial behavior in retirement relative to somebody's pre-retirement income. And it actually varies quite a bit as you move up and down that relative wealth spectrum. Secondly, I can tell you one thing for sure that big data does not tell us is that retirement spending looks like this, a straight line with just an inflation rate tacked onto it, right? And that's not that hard to envision if you think about your 62-year-old self, your retired self, and then fast forward to your 89-year-old self. It's easy to see that people spend money very differently on very different things as they move through their retirement period. So what NaviPlan has done for us here with just one data point, that being income, is put together a complete retirement spending paradigm inclusive of 3 different retirement phases and encompassing leisure expenses, living expenses, and healthcare expenses, all powered by NaviPlan's robust tax engine under the hood. So rather than having to build this all brick by brick from scratch with the client, we now have a really solid baseline to start from. And at the end of the day, financial planning software really should be able to model what somebody's retirement is actually going to look like. So what we're really out to prove is that efficiency and usability actually can coexist with sophistication and accuracy. We haven't forgotten about flexibility either, though. We know that's important, so we've also included here the ability to strategically adjust some of these data points based on the discussions that the advisors and clients are actually having. And Social Security included as well, calculated automatically, but we include the ability to change those basic data points associated with that based on the client's actual plans or wishes. So when it comes to how we're going to fund this retirement, we can add our accounts here. Ideally, many of these accounts are coming in through a back office integration or an account aggregation provider, but we can also enter those manually as well. So now if you think just 2 minutes ago, I was asking Teddy and Dolores a very simple question about their income, and now we're already to a point where we can have that meaningful discussion about what their retirement looks like and how they can improve their financial plan. So we'll start by telling them where they are today. We can also kind of get an x-ray view into how that retirement's projected to be funded between income sources like Social Security and annuities versus account withdrawals. And then if we move to the Explore Your Options side of the page, we can also make changes to the projected plans of how they're preparing for retirement and see not only how that changes their prospects or their goal coverage, but also how it compares to their existing plan that they walked in the door with. So again, that's a little bit more about how we've really tried to achieve with NaviPlan efficiency and usability combined with accuracy and sophistication. So I'll turn it back over to John.
Great, thanks, Tom. So we know that as firms are doing financial planning, that information has a lot of opportunity to be integrated within the environment of the overall ecosystem that it's working in. And with NaviPlan, we really drive that with a set of APIs that are used by the application, but also available to firms to capture that data and do more with it. So what you're seeing here is really a technical workbench that demonstrates some of the value of those APIs and the data that's pulled from them. You see here a set of widgets that we've just created to represent goal coverage. We would fully expect that firms that are using this software are going to create their own customized styling and user interface to pull that data in. This information is completely interactive, so through the interactions, you can drive changes to the financial plan. You can envision that this information is brought into your own financial planning applications, whether that be web-based or mobile environments. For the technical folks that are out there, what you also see here in the lower part of the screen is the JSON return value from this API, which is also returned by the rest of the APIs that we're showing. Needs versus abilities goes into more detail on the financial plan. So you see here a couple of representations of that information, as well as the full data set. And that data set is really critical because firms can do additional analytics on that information and drive new workflows from the financial planning activities. You can envision a firm wanting to take a look at clients that have extremely low goal coverage and create additional actions that they want the advisor to take with their clients. Or they may use that information to create new product offerings that they want to deliver to the clients. What we've also anticipated is that there are times when firms are going to want to bring the entire application into their online experience. We've anticipated that need as well. So here what you see is the guided retirement application iframed into a sample firm's website. So what you've really seen is a transformation of financial planning. With the guided retirement experience, we've allowed the advisor and the investor to engage in a financial plan in their first interaction. We've used smart assumptions to drive that plan and APIs to support it. There's a lot more to unpack here. Stop by the NaviPlan booth to talk with us some more. Thank you. Wow.